Amidst the vast tapestry of existence, the absence of companionship can be likened to a looking glass unveiling the profound layers of one's inner world. A dearth of camaraderie signifies a journey akin to that of a Stoic, steering through the tumultuous currents of life with unwavering resilience. In the hush of our aloneness, we encounter the forge where authentic character is shaped, where the Stoic spirit discovers its indomitable might. And hey, before we begin, if you're keen on cultivating your wisdom, join our community to evolve together by pressing the subscribe button below and activating the notification bell. Now, let's delve into the video. As we traverse the solitary landscapes of our own narrative, it's essential to recognize that the absence of a bustling social circle doesn't equate to an impoverished existence. On the contrary, it's within the cocoon of solitude that we co-create the intricate tapestry of our individuality. The Stoic soul, unburdened by the cacophony of constant companionship, learns to dance with the subtle melodies of its own essence. In this mosaic of self-discovery, every moment of solitude becomes a brushstroke, painting the canvas of our identity with vibrant hues of introspection and self-awareness. The Stoic individual isn't a stranger to the occasional loneliness. Rather, they embrace it as a companion on the journey of self-realization. It's within the echoes of our aloneness that the symphony of our unique narrative gains resonance. In the realm of connections, quality invariably triumphs over quantity. The Stoic, having chosen a deliberate path of meaningful solitude, fosters connections that run deeper than superficial social interactions. These connections, rooted in authenticity and genuine understanding, become pillars supporting the edifice of a rich and fulfilling life. Embracing solitude isn't an act of withdrawal. It's a conscious decision to sculpt a masterpiece from the raw materials of one's own experiences. The Stoic soul, far from being adrift in the sea of isolation, becomes a skilled navigator, charting a course through the profound depths of selfhood. Delving into the philosophy of Stoicism, one finds a profound embrace of solitude, where the absence of companions is not seen as a sorrowful void, but rather as an open door to profound self-exploration. Echoing the sentiments of the esteemed Stoic, Seneca, "He who does not have good fortune must be content with his own virtues." Within the hallowed halls of self-dependence, the Stoic uncovers an unshakable bastion of resilience. Seneca's wisdom resonates through the corridors of time, reminding us that the Stoic philosopher doesn't bemoan the lack of external fortune or an entourage of friends. Instead, they seize the moment to cultivate a rich internal landscape, nurturing virtues that become the bedrock of their identity. In this intentional solitude, the Stoic doesn't merely endure, they thrive. Like a skilled alchemist, they transmute the aloneness into an elixir of self-awareness, embracing the challenges of solitude as stepping stones toward profound personal growth. It is in these moments of deliberate seclusion that the Stoic philosopher unearths the hidden treasures of their own character. The sanctuary of self-reliance isn't a desolate fortress. It's a vibrant ecosystem where the seeds of resilience sprout and flourish. The Stoic, far from being a solitary figure lost in the wilderness of isolation, stands tall within the fortress of their own virtues, a testament to the strength that arises when one relies on the unwavering pillars of their own character. Seneca's words serve as a guiding light for the Stoic individual, urging them to find contentment not in external circumstances, but within the treasury of their own virtues. It's a call to transform the absence of external fortune into a celebration of inner strength, to view solitude not as a barren landscape, but as a fertile ground for self-discovery. So, in the symphony of Stoicism, the melody of solitude harmonizes with the virtuoso performance of self-reliance. The Stoic philosopher, sculpting their own destiny within the walls of internal fortitude, becomes a living testament to the transformative power of embracing one's own virtues in the face of external uncertainties. Embracing a Stoic mindset is not an admission of defeat in the realm of human connection. Rather, it is an acknowledgement that the journey inward is as vital as the connections we forge outward. The Stoic, like the ancient sage Epictetus, recognizes that we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. This resilient response is the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, paving the way to triumph over destructive emotions. In the tapestry of life, woven with threads of joy and sorrow, the Stoic finds solace in the understanding that the pursuit of virtue transcends the transient nature of social bonds. The Stoic ethos echoes the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, who reminds us that very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. Examining our dearth of companions through the lens of Stoicism, it transforms into a blank canvas where we artfully paint the virtues of self-control, courage, and wisdom. This absence of a bustling social entourage becomes a testament to the inner strength that acts as a guiding beacon through the tempests of emotional turbulence. The Stoic soul doesn't find solace in the fleeting applause of social circles, but in the lasting applause of their own conscience. In the symphony of Stoicism, the canvas of solitude transforms into a picturesque landscape embellished with strokes of self-control. Here, the individual, free from the need for external validations, skillfully refines the art of mastering their own reactions. Within the crucible of aloneness, the Stoic meticulously cultivates the virtue of self-control, turning the lack of external influences into a compelling testament of inner fortitude. As the Stoic artist wields the brush of intentional solitude, every stroke becomes a declaration of self-mastery. The absence of constant external feedback doesn't leave them adrift. Instead, it serves as a compass guiding them towards the shores of resilience. In this intentional aloneness, the Stoic soul shapes the narrative of their responses, crafting a story of deliberate composure and unshakable poise. The canvas of solitude, once perceived as a blank expanse, now emerges as a vibrant tableau of self-discipline. The Stoic individual, rather than succumbing to the chaos of external influences, stands as a beacon of serene strength. Each stroke of self-control is a brush dipped in the colors of intentional living, creating a masterpiece that speaks volumes without uttering a word. The crucible of aloneness is not a place of desolation, but a foundry where the Stoic forges the steel of their inner resolve. The absence of external influences becomes the raw material for a sculpture of self-control that withstands the tests of time. The Stoic, far from being a victim of circumstance, becomes the architect of their own responses, building a fortress of inner strength amidst the solitude. Adding another layer to the canvas of solitude, courage emerges as a vibrant hue, untouched by the need for approval from a multitude of friends. In the Stoic masterpiece, courage thrives as the individual confronts the world with an unwavering spirit, navigating challenges with a resilience firmly rooted in self-trust. The absence of a social safety net transforms into a fertile ground, nurturing the courage that propels the Stoic through life's uncertainties. Unlike the conventional notion that courage is fueled by external affirmations and the support of a vast social network, the Stoic finds the wellspring of courage within the depths of their own convictions. The solitude that might seem isolating to others becomes the crucible where the Stoic refines their mettle, relying on an internal compass rather than the applause of the crowd. Facing life's uncertainties without the safety net of constant companionship may appear daunting to some, but for the Stoic, it is an opportunity to showcase an unyielding courage that emanates from within. The absence of external reassurances becomes a catalyst for the Stoic to dig deep into their reservoir of self-trust, allowing them to navigate the unpredictable terrain of life with a resolute heart. The canvas of solitude, painted with strokes of courage, tells a story of the Stoic's journey through adversity. Each challenge becomes a brushstroke, adding depth and richness to the narrative of a courage that is unswayed by external opinions. The Stoic individual, far from seeking refuge in the crowd, stands boldly in the arena of life, fortified by the courage born from self-reliance. So in the Stoic tapestry of life, courage becomes a distinct color on the canvas of solitude. It is not a hue borrowed from the opinions of many, but a shade that emanates from the Stoic's unwavering spirit, thriving in the absence of a conventional safety net. The solitude becomes a breeding ground for a courage that propels the Stoic forward, unshaken by the uncertainties that life may unfold. Completing the triad of virtues on the canvas of solitude, wisdom emerges as the third brushstroke. It finds its expression in the serene moments of introspection that solitude generously provides. The Stoic philosopher, liberated from the cacophony of external opinions, delves into the profound depths of their own thoughts. In this sacred space, they cultivate a wisdom that transcends the ephemeral chatter of social circles. In the absence of ceaseless external input, the Stoic mind transforms into a wellspring of insightful contemplation. While the world outside may be filled with the fleeting noise of varying perspectives, the Stoic, in deliberate solitude, discovers a sanctuary for profound reflection. The moments of quiet introspection become the crucible where raw experiences are distilled into pearls of wisdom. It is in this tranquil environment that the Stoic philosopher turns the pages of their own narrative, mining gems of insight that elude the distractions of constant external stimuli. The canvas of solitude, painted with the brushstroke of wisdom, tells a tale of a mind that doesn't merely absorb information, but distills it into timeless knowledge. The Stoic individual, unburdened by the pressure to conform to external opinions, charts a course of intellectual exploration within the corridors of their own thoughts. Every contemplative moment becomes a brush dipped in the ink of understanding, creating a masterpiece of sagacity. In the absence of constant external input, the Stoic mind doesn't wither. Instead, it flourishes. It becomes a reservoir of discernment, drawing from the deep well of self-reflection. The wisdom cultivated in the solitude of the Stoic is not constrained by the transient nature of social discourse. It transcends time, offering insights that withstand the tests of changing trends and opinions. So, on the canvas of solitude, wisdom becomes the third vibrant brushstroke, weaving through the fabric of the Stoic's journey. It is a hue that emanates from the quiet moments of introspection, creating a masterpiece that reflects not only the depth of the Stoic's character, but also the timeless wisdom that arises when one seeks knowledge within the stillness of their own being. Navigating the storms of emotional turbulence, tempests that might otherwise cast a person adrift in the vast sea of societal expectations, becomes a skill for the Stoic individual. They find their compass not in the external accolades of friendships, but in the internal harmony of virtues cultivated within the sacred space of solitude. While others may be tossed by the tumultuous waves of societal expectations, the Stoic stands resilient, steering through the emotional storms with a steady hand. The lack of a constant support system in the form of external friendships doesn't leave them vulnerable. Instead, it becomes an opportunity for the Stoic to rely on the internal compass, forged within the depths of intentional solitude. In the turbulence of emotional upheavals, the Stoic finds strength in the deliberate cultivation of virtues, self-control, courage, and wisdom. These become the guiding stars that illuminate their path through the challenges posed by societal expectations. The absence of constant external validations doesn't render the Stoic directionless. Rather, it propels them to anchor themselves in the unwavering principles they have nurtured within the sanctuary of solitude. The storms become a test, a crucible where the Stoics' resilience is proven. It's not about weathering the tempests with the external shelter of friendships, but about finding an internal anchor in the virtues that have become an intrinsic part of their character. In the solitude they have chosen, the Stoic individual discovers a resilience that surpasses the transient nature of societal approval. So, amidst the tumultuous seas of societal expectations, the Stoic individual becomes a skilled navigator, finding solace and direction not in the external cheers of companionship, but in the quietude of virtues honed within the sacred space of intentional solitude. The storms become not obstacles, but opportunities for the Stoic to showcase the strength derived from an internal compass that remains steady even in the most turbulent emotional waters. Amidst the shadows of solitude, the Stoic discovers the illuminating light of self-discovery. The void created by the absence of friends becomes an invitation, beckoning the individual to cultivate a profound understanding of their own desires, fears, and aspirations. It is in this introspective journey that an unbreakable bond is forged with one's inner citadel. Instead of viewing the darkness of solitude as a somber expanse, the Stoic perceives it as a canvas where the vibrant hues of self-awareness can be painted. In the absence of constant external interactions, the individual embarks on a journey within, exploring the contours of their own identity. The solitude becomes a lantern, guiding the Stoic through the labyrinth of their own thoughts and emotions. The absence of friends, rather than being a cause for lament, becomes a catalyst for a deeper connection with oneself. In the quiet moments of introspection, the Stoic unravels the layers of their own psyche, delving into the intricacies of desires that may have remained veiled in the hustle of social interactions. It's a process of self-excavation, unearthing the gems of authenticity that lie beneath the surface. The journey into the self is not one of isolation, but of profound companionship. In the darkness of solitude, the Stoic doesn't feel abandoned, but rather discovers the most steadfast companion, themselves. It is in this self-discovery that the individual fortifies their inner citadel, creating a stronghold that withstands the external fluctuations of companionship. So, my fellow seekers of Stoic wisdom, let us embrace the solitude that life sometimes offers. Let us use it as a crucible for inner strength, a canvas for the masterpiece of self-mastery. For in the lack of friends, we find the abundance of self, and in the Stoic path, we discover the resilience that transcends the ebb and flow of external circumstances. As we chart the intricate tapestry of our existence, let us transcend the mere endurance of the absence of companionship and instead thrive in the richness of our own virtues. Let the Stoic flame within burn brightly, casting its illumination upon the path to a life well lived. In the solitude of a Stoic heart, we uncover not loneliness, but the profound company of one's own noble character. The absence of companions need not be a barren landscape, but rather a fertile ground where the seeds of our virtues can sprout and flourish. Let us not merely weather the quiet moments, but revel in the opportunity to cultivate the garden of self-discovery. In the deliberate solitude, the Stoic individual becomes the architect of their own narrative, weaving threads of resilience, self-control, courage, and wisdom into the fabric of their being. The flame of Stoicism, when kindled within, becomes a beacon that guides us through the uncharted territories of life. It is not a feeble flicker in the face of solitude, but a radiant light that reveals the contours of our true selves. As we navigate the twists and turns of our journey, let the Stoic flame be a constant, a source of warmth that emanates from the core of our own virtues. In the solitude of a Stoic heart, there is no echo of loneliness, but a resounding chorus of self-appreciation. The company of one's own noble character becomes a source of strength and solace. It's a symphony of self-reliance, where each note resonates with the harmony of virtues meticulously cultivated in the quietude of intentional introspection. So, let us not be defined by the absence of companionship, but rather let the Stoic flame within define us. As we traverse the tapestry of our existence, may the light of our virtues shine brightly, creating a masterpiece that reflects not just endurance, but the flourishing resilience of a life well lived. Dear seekers of greatness, join our Stoic community, where resilient souls come together to grow as one. Amidst timeless lessons, we shape inner fortresses, find strength in adversities, wisdom in reflections, and virtue in actions. In this sanctuary of mutual growth, each member is an architect of their own evolution. We invite you to be part of this collective journey of self-mastery, where unity strengthens and shared wisdom illuminates the path.